Sneelock. This is a tool stand. It's for a unique tool that I hope to use here in the workshop, and came to me kind of in a basket. The pieces were somewhat together, but they were together incorrectly. So I'm going to go through and see if I can straighten out the things that need to be fixed. These two blocks, which are the motor mounts, are held in place with 3/8 Allen bolts. They only put one Allen bolt in the block, and I don't know why they did that, but that's what they did. And they're both slightly at an angle to the front. And I would like to have them square to the front. So I'm going to square them up and tighten up the bolts. This one moved a little bit on me. That's the thing I don't understand about having just one bolt on it. Might have to get out Louie's big wrench. But I'm hoping I can just bring it around. There we go. That's square. Back in 1975, I started working at Borg-Warner in Coldwater, Michigan. I started out running a solder dip pot, which was a hot, dirty job, but it was a job to get me in the door, and I took it. Borg-Warner was a great company to work for. They did a lot of really great things for their employees, and they did a good job of doing their work, building the parts that they made. I ended up being a toolmaker working for that company. Started out doing the job that I wanted to do, which was being a maintenance person, machine repair. And because they had stamping presses, they decided that the maintenance crew should be able to fix the dies. So they sent me to school, and I became a toolmaker. After a 5-year apprenticeship under Frank Printke, Borg Warner didn't have a union, so non-union shops, there is no apprenticeship program. But I served the 4 years, I passed all the tests, there's just no certificate. Be that as it may, I took, as a tool maker, I got to use all kinds of nifty things, like milling machines, lathes, surface grinders. But the big thing that I did is I worked on dies. And dies are cool. I am always in awe of how well some of the old dies were made. And a lot of them were put together with Allen bolts. There was a guy that came down from Kendall Industrial, and he sold us bolts, screws, nuts, washers, things like that. One day he came down with a set of tools that I just thought were fascinating. They're made by Bondus, and we call them ball-nosed. What they have is they have a hex end on it that allows you to put it into the bolt and then turn it at an angle and still drive it. This is a smaller set of them that I bought later. And these are sockets. Very cool. This is a 1/4 inch actually. But you put the Allen wrench in there and you can use it like a universal drive. So you can do adjusting on a bolt from an off angle. Now you don't want to torque it down to maximum tightness with the ball. That's what this end of the Allen wrench is for. You'll snap this off. I had a guy do that for me. I bought a set of these for myself, and they are very, very nice. They allow you to reach down into really tight spots, especially when you're working on a die that's still in the machine, and you don't want to pull the die and do all kinds of changes on it. You just want to take one piece off, fix that one piece and put it back in. It's nice to be able to do an off-angle adjustment on an Allen bolt. This lets you spin it down in, and then you get in there with a short one and do the 15-degree arcs to get around the corners. Very cool idea. Now, just in case you didn't recognize this thing before, this should give it away. I used to have a full set, but then one of the guys thought that he needed to get down into a hole and tighten the bolt. Now, if he'd asked, I wouldn't have minded. Quite often, I loaned out my tools. Since then, I've learned that that's not a good policy. But at the time, I let him go ahead and borrow tools out of my toolbox. And I always wanted him to tell me that he was going to do it. Now, this time, evidently he thought it was more important to get the job done than it was to tell me, so he just took it. He had a 5/16 Allen bolt down at the bottom of a hole, and he wanted to tighten it up. So he put a pair of pliers on the handle of my Bondus ball-nosed drivers, which at the time were 29 bucks. Considering I was making $200 a week, 29 bucks was a bunch of money. And he stuck it down in the hole and snapped the end off and screwed up the handle. In a fit of pique, I tossed it. And then I tried to order another one and I couldn't get it. Now I was really ticked off. But part of it was my fault. I shouldn't have gotten angry and thrown it away. But John certainly shouldn't have borrowed my tool without telling me, and he most definitely should not have taken my tool and used it, and abused it the way he did. Now, years later, I was in charge of people who were doing repair work on machines. I was a maintenance supervisor. I would tell them, if you break a tool, I'll replace it. Because quite often, the job is more important than that tool that you're carrying. But I also bought their tools to begin with. And I knew if they broke it, I had another one on the shelf waiting for them. That was what I had learned from my little excursion with John. I want this just to be able to move freely. I don't want any shake or rattle in it, because this is what lines up the tool to do saw sharpening. Now you're getting the idea what it is, aren't you? Maybe some of you guys already know. This is a Foley Belsaw number 155 saw sharpener. Well, actually, Sharpening. It's designed to sharpen nearly everything that you can need to have sharpened. At least that's the literature. And I originally thought, oh man, another multi-tool. Something that does everything, never does anything well, and it does a lot of things poorly. Now this is the exception that proves the rule. Foley knows what the hell they're doing. Now the proud owner of two Foley Belsaw sharpeners. And since this is an old one, this is a Belsaw machinery company. Model number 10293. It's a grinder with multiple setups. It can do all kinds of things once I get it fixed. But then fixing things, if you can do it, is a great way to get a lot of things for less money, because people who don't know how to fix them, can't get them to work, get frustrated, and get rid of them. And that, my friends, is an awesome circumstance for guys like me. I'm going to be doing a whole series of videos on this thing because there's lots of stuff to do with it and it needs some work, so that's the thing that I like to do. The big thing I'm going to do with this one is sharpen a thing that I've tried to sharpen and not had much success with. And my thinking that this is going to let me do it was the driving force behind getting it. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, there'll be lots more fun coming up.